Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Pro Cycling Manager 2020. This is Women's Tour. It's episode number 10. There was a lot of support in the comments for re-signing our top two riders with the expiring contracts, just for the sake of their hard work for the season. And we have seen them improve. So Klaus and Scheer both, a lot of support to get them re-signed. I don't want to re-sign them to long-term deals, which is something really rare for me. I'm very consistent about always going for 3-year deals, but we have plenty of budget remaining. We don't want to hang on to them long-term, but I might as well try to get them re-signed for a couple seasons. So Klaus, 2 years, 2,500, set as absolute sprinter. Can we put you just as important rider? Will you accept that? She does, and Klaus is back. Also for Acacia Scheer, our top rider with that 64 mountain rating. While low potential overall, there's still some room for growth, and she could be a good support climber if nothing else going forward. So looking on that renewal here, looking for potentially a 1-year deal. And I think I might be okay with a 1-year deal, even though she's realistically been our top rider this season. I think a 1-year deal for somebody with no potential isn't a bad thing, and we'll see where we're at. Reassess next season whether to bring her back for an additional 1-year deal or whether it's time to say goodbye and move on to other riders. We are finding slightly better riders for next season than what we have currently. If we can build our profile, then I think we should be able to sign significantly better riders come next season. That's the hope anyway. That's not going to be enough for her. She wants either more money or more years. And apparently it's going to boost our team index by bringing her back too, surprisingly. I'm less inclined to give her a pay raise. I'm more inclined to give her a second year at minimal, where she could be a support climber for 2 years. That's still not enough to do it because we haven't done much in terms of the interest. She wants some additional money. I can't go less on the years now that I've offered her that. We have the money to play with. 3,000 for Scheer. I'm not going to go higher though. If she wants more than that, that's it. That's enough. She's going to re-sign 2 years, 3,000. That's still almost minimum. So at this point, we're climbing out of that cellar that is no stars whatsoever. The blue marker is what we had last season. Yellow marker for what we're going to have this season. It's still really, really, really bad. But it's not in the deepest, darkest depths. And that's going to make us definitely more competitive, just in the continental races anyway. Again, we had one rider over 60 at the start of the season. That was Summer Moak at a 61, I believe. And we had a 60 or 2. Now we're going to have at least a trio of 65s. It's not great. Okay, it's not great. 65 is not a good rating. But that still looks a whole lot better than what we had at the start of the season, because that's 7 riders rated above where we were at the start of the season. It certainly is a step in the right direction, and our majority American is surprising because I was not thinking about going exclusive on that. I was trying to diversify a little bit. The more Americans we can get our hands on, obviously the better for keeping the sponsor happy, but that's going above and beyond on that, and I think we could sign virtually anybody at this point. And I might try to go spend a little bit more on possibly a 1-year deal if it's crazy expensive, but they want more years. So we might go for a 1 or 2 year deal for a better rider if it's not stupid expensive. Just to get a little more improvement out there than what we're getting right now. I know that means we're going to be paying above minimum, and there's not going to be the greatest interest, but we could really use it, and especially if we could sign somebody for a crazy amount for a 1-year deal. So we'll see what we can do about that. It's how many riders can I reach out to? We have 39 points remaining, and we can't go sign any big names. And there really is no interest. So we need to get down to a point where there's at least some interest. Irene Beto is one who has a little bit of interest, but what do we gain from signing her? Well, nothing. So picking and choosing who we go after is the tricky part. All right, so Gert Laxiri, a 72 average, 5'8 potential. We got Passerini, so we got the other one. But Laxiri, that high potential, has no current contract. That's helpful in trying to sign somebody like this. Done searches. 30 points. Gosh, we can't even... Okay. Step it down a notch. Attic East. We can't go to somebody in the mid-70s already, but Cynthia Marie, is that one we already signed? Did we sign Marie? Yes, we did. And we signed Maxwell, yes. Claudia Miucci is a 4'7", just a 60. That could be an easy signing for us. 62 Mountain already, actually. That's not too bad compared to some of what we have. We'll go 3-year deal, as that's going to be a domestique project. Teammate. There you go. There's a high potential signing. Okay, this is who we close monitored this season. 4-5 on the potential. Certainly better than some. 62, 66 on the mountains and hills. Is definitely better than some of the options we're going to find out there. No, I do not want to sign you on as a leader. Can we get you as an important writer? For a little more money we can. There we go. A couple more signings for us. Next target is Cipriani, a 67 overall, which is pretty good. Classics writer. Overall, just kind of so-so, but compared to what we have. 66 couple rating will really help. 63 sprint. Okay stamina. Good recovery. Would be a handy rider to have if she's not crazy expensive. I don't know what her potential ended up being, as she was assigned to the scout that never got through their assignments. But we might as well aim for, I suppose, a 2-year deal on the unknown part. Even if she doesn't develop, she'll be better than a lot of what we have now. That's definitely not going to be enough. She's happy with 2 years, though. Bump her up to a leader. Didn't work. Okay, no Cipriani. Isabella Brookshire is another one who doesn't have a whole lot of potential, but at 66 already is an improvement upon some of what we have. Really good downhill, good recovery. The PCM20 version, she was on the squad, but she had improved enough here that she was too good to make the initial squad. Good for a 2-year deal. See if she'll take that. Not quite, but it's the money that's the issue. There you go. 3,000 for a 2-year deal. Not bad. Vanderpeet, 65. Climber, just 17. There's got to be some room for potential, even if we have no idea what her actual potential is. This is a rider that's got to be able to grow some at just 17. We'll go for a 2-year initial. They want absolute leader. There's another one for us in Donadin. And the squad's starting to get much larger than it was. So at this point, I think at most, I'm going to look for just one more rider. All right, so final tally for the team. I'm up to 13 riders now from 10, so we add 3 more to the squad. We get to a single star. Right now it's showing Continental Pro. I don't expect it to stay like that at all. We're only 38th, 64 points. We're already right on the fringe. We'll get dropped from that as soon as other teams start signing riders. But we're going to a full star, so progress. Best rider, Isabella Brookshire, a 66. bunch of 65s, though, and plenty of potential in some of the riders that we're signing. But not the most amazing potential we're going to get our hands on. So it's not going to be drastically different next season, but a little competitiveness will be pretty drastically different from where we're at right now. So looking forward to next season. I think we'll be far more stable. I don't know how well we'll do with the sponsor objectives, but it certainly will be easier to get some of them anyway next season than it was this season. Quick simmed the Tour of Utah. Chloe Dygert claimed the victory for this one, and it was Acacia Shear who took 28th, nearly 10 minutes behind. All things considered, not a terrible performance. She did have a top 10 on one of the stages. First bits of news for signings are coming in. Van der Breggen and Voss both extending with their teams. We've already dropped out of the Continental Pro positions on the index. We'll take a look where we sit right now. The team most likely to make the jump to World Tour status, Cheval Mier. Also, Show Air 20. That's Chloe Dygert's team. She might single-handedly pull that team up into World Tour status. Of course, in real life, she is moving on. I'm not yet eliminated from Continental Pro status. We still have 5 spots left above the bubble, so we still got a little bit longer before we get eliminated from that. But you can see there's so many teams that have yet to really dive into the transfer market, and it's just 1 star. We are quite low. Fleur Vanderpeet was a 67. She just leveled up and jumped 2 levels to a 69 now. Mountain rating definitely went up a little bit, a 67. And that jumped our index up significantly. We went from 41st to 35th with that in a day. Also, on our own team, we did see 1 level up. Joanna DeWitt from a 61 to a 62. Not really seeing where that came from, though, as she's still mostly in the 50s. Amanda Spratt going to CCC Live for next season, and we have 1 objective left, 1 important race left. We're going to be bypassing all the rest. The Healthy Aging Tour 4-star objective. It's after the fact. It doesn't matter, but we'll do that as our final actual live race of the season as we just cruise into next season. Will we be cruising into next season as a Continental Pro team? I don't expect we will, but there's still plenty of time to sign riders for the other teams. But you never know.
Hello and welcome. The race has cobbled sections that are renowned for testing both bikes and their riders. You've got to know what you're doing.
All right, so what will be my final race of this season? Played out live anyway. We're at the Aging Tour, Healthy Aging Tour, and it's a classic. There's cobbled sections, but there's not a lot of cobbled sections. There's a handful, and they're in the middle. So if the pace isn't too bad through there, we might just make it. And if we do, then we could see this out and potentially, hopefully, achieve the objective, which is a top 10 overall. So we'll see if we can get our hands on a top 10 on this one. DeWitt, not much help. Flat rating's going to be good. We'll get you to protect Moke, as we know Moke is our top sprinter. It's been a while. I recorded a bunch of episodes at the same time last time around, and I've kind of, I don't know, it's been a little while since then. I don't fully remember. Schmid's pretty quick. Klaus is going to be quick, yeah.
The brake seems to be working. The paddock really doesn't look interested in following the
race day
breakaway.
conditions aren't
Things have
looking
slowed
so
right
helpful
down.
for us. DeWitt's a +2, but otherwise everybody's on 0 or negatives. So let's cruise through this one and hope that this middle section is a nice, calm tempo. Otherwise, we'll be in a lot of trouble with a bunch of cobble ratings in the 50s. Large breakaway, 15 riders, 3 minutes, 20 seconds up the road already. 93 in the peloton. Hopefully the strongest riders are here in the peloton and not in that break. First cobbled section, just 2 stars. And wow, look how quickly O'Neill went backwards. Up the effort just a little bit. 146k to go. We want to get water before we hit the cobbled sections. Who's going to get it? Probably Larson or O'Neill. O'Neill's really poor on the ratings, so let's use O'Neill. Do so now. Well, it's definitely safe. Alright. Slow it down just a little bit through here. 3-star section. O'Neill very much going backwards. Larson very much going backwards. And the peloton does lose some riders. Larson and O'Neill are on protection duty. They just have such horrible cobble ratings. They did not make it through. They did not make it through. Okay, so put those two on auto. If they make it back, they make it back. DeWitt also definitely went backwards through this. That was the worst of it, but there's still more to come. DeWitt protecting our sprinter Moke, so that's fine. These two do not have a lot of energy, and they're a little ways behind, so
when there's a cobbled section, its contribution can be
I'm not sure they're going to make it back up. They've pulled back 15 seconds, and they're the closest group behind the peloton right now. There's only about 3 others that were dropped. There was, I think, 6 in all that were dropped. So that shows our quality. They did not make it back. The gap is growing. Hitting another cobbled section is only going to increase that gap. So it looks like we'll have 4 riders, and they're out of energy now. And the peloton is beginning to shrink further. Let's also up this effort level a bit so we make sure we're still in it through these last couple sections. Peloton shrinks further yet, down to 69. 1.4k, 2 stars. DeWitt definitely struggling like the other 2 did, and DeWitt also out of energy. DeWitt's going to get dropped here, and is out. Alright, 3 left. Last cobbled section. Let them ride solo. They're doing fine. Alright, 66k to go. Somebody's going to have to protect, probably Schmid. It could be Klaus. Let's see. No, Klaus is definitely a little faster. So Schmid's going to take over the protection duties, but also get water. So it's 60 riders chasing those 13 at the front. I think they lost a couple from the front, right? Wasn't it 15 before? It's a minute and a half to DeWitt's group of 29. I don't want them to come back. I don't need DeWitt here and 30 riders to come with her. That's far too many, so hopefully they don't make it back up. 30k to go now. Front group's falling apart, and we've nearly caught them. We're down to 54. We're dropping riders. Good. Good. 20k to go. Back together at the front. DeWitt's group over 2 minutes back now. We're blinking red at an 80.
There are just 15k
left. To go. It's only 3 riders and not a lot of energy in these 3 riders, so we gotta wait a little bit longer to set up our sprint train.
10 kilometers to the finish line.
Schmid's not going to make it. Schmid gel up now. It's just going to be Klaus and Moak. So we're going to definitely have to wait to go inside the final 6K. Schmid right on the edge. 7K. We're dropping a few riders from this group. Okay, 6K to go. Moak, Klaus. Moak, you're going to follow Klaus. Klaus, sure, 83. Will that bring you forward? Oh, I sped up, not slowed down. I hate when it does that. Okay, 86. 4.5K. Klaus, working on that lead out. Getting us out there. 3.5K. 3K. Okay, 99. Klaus. Inside 2K to go. Gets that ideal position as we approach the finish. And she's going to sprint. Now Moak. Come on, Moak. Oh, we are just so slow. So slow.
He managed the sprint like a master of his craft.
Probably should have done this the other way around. I think Klaus would have been faster than Moak. Summer Moak, 14th.
We're waiting for the tailenders who continue to arrive.
We were in the ideal position, and we went at theoretically the ideal time. We didn't have the ideal train, but we still made it work. Klaus ran that well. But Moak, just too slow. Much too slow. And that's why we are speeding up to get to next season. Absolutely why it is time to begin next season. I don't think I've scored a whole lot of points for this season. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at those rankings and see just how bad it is. And then I'm just going to go ahead and end the episode. And we'll start the next episode January 1st with a new season coming. Trek is crushing the World Tour rankings ahead of Mitchelton Scott, Canyon Schramm. We are very low on the Continental rankings, 62 out of the 78 teams. Likewise in the Super Prestige, 84 out of 92 teams that have scored enough points for Super Prestige to calculate. Just 83 points is all we have managed this season. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. And actually, that's no better than where we were as of last episode. So, haven't even improved that. That does it for this season, though. That's going to do it for this episode. I will see you next time as we kick off a new season with some new riders who might still develop before we even begin next season. We've had a good run of that already. Looking forward to seeing what we'll have. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Be sure to hit that like button.